Hello and welcome everybody. Akamel DL here, and I did talk about this a little bit in the progression guide. Just if you have not seen that yet and are more or less looking for how to progress, feel free to check that out. But this will be focusing on the little in-betweens. All right, for its might progression. That's what this guide will be. This will be focusing on the in-betweens, the not so major stuff. Because well, as we know, weapons are the main form of progression with this game. Weapons will always be a major factor. But there are other things you can do to slowly increase your might. To say, for example, you already have like all the max out chimeras and you need just a little bit more. These tips should help you get that little bit more in order for you to hit that next might gate, unlock that content, and be able to get even more might that way. So without further ado, links are in the description, and feel free to sub for more Dragalia Lost content and also guides. Either with or in place of the guide down below, it will eventually be a playlist of just all the guides. So definitely make sure you do check that out, just if you do need more information. So as we know, weapons, those are the main form of might. Those are a given throughout this entire section. All right, those are a given. This is everything else. So what is that everything else? As I have mentioned in the progression guide, adventurers, you have basic level up materials, as well as augments, and as well as their mana circle or spiral for some people as well. Those all are major factors to might. Major factors. Augments on characters, for example, it can only go up to plus 200, and it's a 1-for-1 trade. It is one augment for 1 might, so therefore she gains an additional 200 might. These are good for later game, so make sure you work up your mains accordingly. Level, obviously, it will increase other stats, henceforth might as well. Mana circle, it will give them more abilities, enhancing their current ones, skills, and also every time you unbind, you get might. Mana spirals, they naturally have more might, but they are a little bit more expensive. So that is definitely something to be wary of. Definitely can help you close that might gap. Say, for example, a full team of mana 70s. It will be expensive on the Eldwater department as well as material department, but it's a very quick cheat code for might. Very quick cheat code. Promoting will only affect 4 stars and 3 stars. Really only do this for good people, honestly. But other a little bit slower ways, but still really good ways. You have dragons. You can unbind them, which will in turn increase their level cap, and with that level cap increase, you can increase their strength even further, and also in turn give them more might. There's also dragon augments as well, but that will be much later on, like past Master Agitos, so don't worry about those quite yet. But yes, they do have augments. They go up to plus 100. That's another small thing for might as well. Just don't worry about that immediately. Just know that they do exist, and that is something you can do for beyond 40k, whatever that next cap is. And also one more thing relating to dragons. You have the Dragon Roost. Alright, and the Dragon Roost will increase a Dragon's Bond, going from rank 1 to rank 30. Every rank increase, it will not only increase the Dragon Timer, it will also slightly increase the amount of might that dragon has. So, making sure you max out a dragon is very worth it. Also, as a small bonus, whenever you max out a dragon, excluding Arsene at the moment, you get a Sunlight Ore, which can be used for a Sunlight Stone. Sunlight Stone can be used on 5-star dragons for an Unbind, which really can help with even more might problems. I can't show an example of feeding because, well, I have every single dragon maxed. I'm still mixing some dragons, though, I will say that. Other things, and Wimprints. Wimprints, you can have up to 5. You only make sure you unlock the slot on the weapon in order to get that 5th Wimprint slot. But Wimprints, when you have all 5 equipped, they can be pretty nice. Now, though, there is one thing to keep in mind with Wimprints, alright? Alright, decently recent. I say decently recent because it was decently recent at the time of this. They have added affinities. Affinities, they can slightly increase your might just a little bit further. I think it's plus 100 for every affinity. So when you are really getting crunched on might, I don't recommend this too much for newer people because your Eld Water is going to be dry as a bone. There are specific Wimprint sets that, which for this case, for example, you could design it in a way that you have 2 affinity bonuses active on already pretty high might, on already existing pretty high might Wimprints, and there's a little might crunching tip right there as well. And now kind of rounding this out, actually, because believe it or not, there isn't too much for might shit. It's really time. That's it. It's mostly time consuming. Might is supposed to be slowly increased with time. When you're just a couple mites away, you are really crunching for that last little bit to take on that content that day. One more thing. Then I'm probably gonna say one more thing after this as well. Is actually your facilities. Facilities, I always say you should always have your facilities running. You should always make sure those are being invested in, because even though they are slight boosts in might. When you have a lot of facilities, and when they're all at higher levels, they can seriously inflate your might. These are long-term investments, and they are worth the long term. Now, though, obviously, for example, you have altars and dojos. Those are going to be the main 2 you are really working on. The event compendium facilities you should work on, but yet those can be done pretty quickly, and those are only farmed in those events. These you will eventually need to do multiple stages. For example, this one, being Nature's Blessing, you will need the Morsayati fight, aka the 40k might fight. Tier 4 orbs, those are from either Chimeras or the Void Dragons on the expert stage. Rainbow orbs, same orb stage, is just a rare drop than regular orbs. This, for example, you need 3 different stages, so you will need to be diligent in investing in these. But what I'm going to tell you right now is more or less stages you really should try and go for on these that are kind of like checkpoints to as where they will give you a very big might boost. All right. Now, when it comes to altars, they alternate in 0.5s for quite a long time. They alternate in 0.5s up until rank 34. So altars are very slow to invest in. However, from 35 to 41, they all increase by 0.5, already making them just a little bit better than the previous 34 stages. But from 41 to 42 and onward up to the max of 45, it does go up by 0.5, alternating again. So really making sure you try to get to 40 altars will be pretty worth, but once again, it is expensive, so do be careful about that. Now Now I will talk about dojos really quick, because dojos, you actually do have a pretty early gate to as of where you should get to as of where you will get a really big might boost. You have 2 gates actually, my bad. So the first gate, all right, this will bring up both stats by 1.5%. This is a pretty big boost considering how slow facilities can be ranked up. When you go from 15 into 16, that is the 1.5%. So the first checkpoint for dojos is level 16. Make sure when it comes to slowly investing in just everything, make sure they're 16 before you move on. That is just a good cap to sit on. But then the next one will be from 30 to 31. It will instead be 2.5%, which is a actually really freaking big boost. That's a big boost in might right there. And that is from 30 to 31 once again. So when you hit 31 on all of them, the cap is 40 right now. But there really are no big boosts beyond that. A honorable mention is 35 out of 36, but that's dipping into the more Sayati mats as well as being pretty later on down the line. So don't worry too much about that one, but making sure you do 16 then into 31. Those two are going to be incredibly worth, especially because they're dojos. Dojos are just really, really good in those 2 checkpoint cases. Make sure you definitely get those 2 checkpoints. Those are going to be very, very helpful for you in might boosting. Excuse me there. And well, one more thing I do want to mention is another a little cheat code. You did already hear me say, oh god damn it, Sean, not now. Don't worry about that. That's just my little brother. I'm being naughty right now. I'm here at home recording. But you did hear me talk about mana 70s giving you like an additional 1k might over mana 50 adventurers. Those are a cheat code. Now I'm going to show you some adventurers, some weapon types that will be good to invest in because they're naturally a little cheeky. All right. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to sort this by might. You will see the top might weapons, and this will affect all weapons. This is for weapon types. As you can see at the very, very top, you have axes. Axes have the biggest might. So, when it comes to might cheating, you can do a mana 70 axe unit, and therefore you're then technically cheating the system a little bit right there. That's very, very handy to know, especially because there's already a couple good axe mana 70s that exist. You have Karna, you have Lin Yo, you have Ranzel. Ranzel's a good one. I'm saying that one right now. Ranzel's a really, really good one. So those are some really good might cheaters right there, followed by katanas, then lances. I'm only excluding this lance because this one is 100% maxed out. These are technically maxed out. So technically speaking, katanas are behind axes. So those 3 even, because well, let's include lances in there. So axes, katanas, and lances are going to be great for you guys to invest might into. That is just my recommendation, but especially axes. That is another might cheater. Great might cheaters. So if you do plan on investing in an axe, I would recommend doing it early because you can cheat with that. You can absolutely cheat with that. So, beyond that, You still obviously want to invest in the weapons, making sure you're matching elements, maxing out the weapon. And especially when it comes to Agitos, make sure you invest in the facility first, then into the weapon, because the facility, as I've mentioned in the progression guide, those Agito trees, those are the best source of might, because those always increase by like 1%. Those are stupid good for might cheating. So make sure you invest in those as soon as possible, then you do the weapon. But beyond that, that should be it. I think I've said about everything that, you can do in the little in-between phases of the might stuff. I do want to highlight, once again, Aito trees and the dojos. Especially at rank 16 and 31. Then technically altars, but much later on down the line. They're at least cheap to do because of their very low orb investment. Up until that is 35 into 36. That's when it gets a little bit more expensive. But those are some general might tips and cheats as well. So hopefully you guys can now use this information to blast your way to the appropriate might gates, especially 34, because 34 will unlock you the Master Agitos, and that will really set you up for might. Like, you don't even have to try for 40k, you will just hit it naturally as long as you do everything. So, hopefully you guys did learn a thing or two, and I will see you all in the next thingy thing that I do eventually. So, I will see you then.